Hello, welcome back. It's been a while, probably. Start of the school year's been crazy. Speaking of crazy, I've been going crazy. The last time you saw me, I was painting up my hearthkin, and I was going to speed paint them all. That did not work out. See, made a tiny boo-boo. I hope everyone has made boo-boos in their life so they understand. I started speed painting them, and here's an example of the color. It's a beautiful purple. Beautiful purple. Unfortunately, let me get this other light on here. There we go. Unfortunately, I had painted up my other units for Votann over a year ago because I didn't think I was going to be collecting them. Yeah, that's not the same purple. And Garrett, I didn't think about that until yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. I didn't think about that until after. So, then I thought about it, and I remembered the color I had used, and it was this beautiful violet by Vallejo. So I got that out and tried again, and then found that didn't match. And then I racked my brain to figure out why none of my colors matched. And then I remembered. I didn't like how purple the purple was. So I mixed in some black to tone it down, darken it. So my workstation's a little crazy right now. Because I have spent the last week mixing black and purple to try and make a close enough approximation to my original purple from a year ago. And after a lot of attempts, I've got something that I feel, while not perfect, is much closer. And what some might say, oh, sorry, not that one. What some might say is, quote unquote, good enough for government work. So while not perfect, it's good enough that my two elite units can be a slightly different shade. It'll be okay. I'll survive. Yeah. So what I ended up doing, I highly advise you do this because I do this with my Thousand Suns. If I'm going to mix and tone, tint, or change the color, I usually mix it first. I make the batch, then color it, and adjust from there. So I took some of my base purple, added some black in a mixing bowl, put it in an empty Vallejo bottle I had, and mixed up a color-corrected version, a large enough batch that I can use to finish up the rest of these guys. And that's where we're at today, is special of fixing Whoopsie Daisies. Because that's what I have on my hands, some Whoopsie Daisies that I picked. This is also why they tell you to do thin coats. Because now, while I'm fixing my Whoopsie Daisies, at least it's not so bad. And it's not so bad because I'm coloring a darker purple onto a slightly lighter purple. So it's not going to be the end of the world trying to cover it. It won't be the end of the world trying to cover it, but yeah. If you're gonna mix a custom color, write it down or make a big batch. Don't be like this idiot and have to spend a week remaking your color. Life advice. The only downside to this is that because I already have those ones done, my original leader units, I'm not going to be able to contrast these guys, which kind of sucks, because now that beautiful, pretty zenithal that I fucked up, it's not really going to show up. And that's just the way it is. There's no fun way around that. I'm going to have to go back in and do some edge highlighting on these guys. But that's life. So yeah, you can see here, again, it did not work out. But, like I said, I've got my closer color. So now I'm just going to go back through and just fix this up. You might notice I'm not using my normal brushes, and that is because I have been mixing and unmixing and remixing paint so much and cleaning my brushes entirely in between goes that I thought it might be a little bit harder on the brushes. So I've been using my old brushes for this. Not my garbage brushes, just my old ones. And you can see I'm getting a little, getting a little fraying on these guys. I had to replace them. Sometimes someone will tell you not to do this, and that's fair. They're right. Sometimes if my old brush, and I know it's an old brush and I'm not too tore up over it, starts fraying, I'll just bite off the fraying parts. It's an old brush, I'm just extending its life. If this was a new brush, I'd care more and do more work, but it's not. The only downside is I haven't, it's been a while since I've actually painted proper and done like nice big base coats. So I am actually finding it a bit tough to get back into the groove of it. But that's what this is all about, right? This isn't called Some Master Paints. This is called Some Idiot Paints. And some idiot sometimes makes some dumb mistakes that they gotta fix. I still have some things I have to figure out on these guys. I've ended up, you can see it on this guy, I've ended up going with the gray for the pants. I'm trying to change that light so it's like that. I'm going to be going for that black charcoal gray for their pants. But now I don't know what I'm going to do with their shoulder or their little pads, their knee pads and stuff. So I got to figure that one out at some point. Oh, God, I hate covering this. It looks so nice, I thought. Oh, this hurts my soul. Oh, well. It'll still apply in some places. Anywhere where there's... Well, actually, really, it's probably only going to apply in the pants and the visors. Oh, well. That's all you can do. I'll just cry about it for a couple more days. I really also should be using a bigger brush for this, but... I kind of want to be able to switch between doing some broad strokes and some fine strokes, so... I get my camera back in place. Oh, hold on. What's going on here? There we go. Ooh, almost dropped into the paint. So yeah, I planned my next video to mostly be focused on moving on to the fine work and the details, but that didn't really work out. And yeah, like I said, no, the start of the school year has been a absolute gong show. I don't think I've seen as crazy a start to a school year in my teaching career as this one. Just the amount of like stuff going on, incidents, co-worker problems. It's really just been non-stop. I really can't peg my finger on what's causing it. I gotta say it's happening. There we go. Yeah, see, much, much darker purple. Move these guys here. Ooh, missed a spot. Move the ones that have been repurpled off to the side. Yeah. So I hope you guys haven't been dealing with as much crazy as I have. And I think that's a fair hope for all of you. Whether that be your own self-induced crazy, or whether that be external crazy. Yeah, now some of it is my own doing. And I don't know if you guys have ever had this, so the way my job works is I end up setting up a lot of stuff by phone. And this is my 3rd year in the job. And I'm getting, I think, better at it. So some of my problem is that I'm getting better at my job, which means that instead of panicking and getting stuff sorted out in May, I'm getting it sorted out now. Basically, it means that what I would have been stretching out over a year last year, I'm now getting done now. And what that translates into is, while my year is much more organized, I've given myself a lot more work in the immediate future. Now, one thing you maybe notice is that as I'm fixing these, I'm not necessarily always fixing them perfect. For instance, around these edges, I'm not always covering the entire thing, or not covering it as heavy, because the whole point of speed painting and giving them the zenith, or attempting to give them a zenith, was to add some shading, which, I'm gonna dunk this thing in some Nuln oil when that phase comes. But still, not so much the shaded areas, but any of the lighter areas that I can preserve as being lighter, relatively speaking, without having too much of a color issue, I will try and do that. That being said, I'm also not going to drive myself crazy doing it, because these are disposable warriors. These are Hearthkin. I'm really glad I started with my Hearthkin to figure all this out, because I have 30 more. Or sorry, not 30 more, I have 20 more. So at the end of the day, if these guys don't end up looking the best, they'll just be hidden in the mass anyway. I'm not too concerned with it. Okay. This guy has a couple things on him that I didn't get to. Got his legs, got his shoulders, got his arms. Alright. This is one thing that I ended up deciding on, is that despite what it says on the box, I'm going to do the cuff of their gloves purple, the same color as their armor plating. Again, this is supposed to be the same color as their gloves, but I am doing a lot of this stuff with black and gray. So I think it makes too much black and gray. So it's going to be this purple. A bit heavy there. A bit heavier than what I wanted. It's alright, if you go a little heavier than you intend, like I say, 2 thin coats is the way. Just go back, take the paint off your brush, then use the paint you just put on the model to finish up what you're doing. Okay. That is okay. That can be done. I find, ironically, I'm worse at it with Vallejo paints, even though I do prefer them for going a bit heavier than I intend, because I usually don't thin them down on the palette, because I often find they're good enough as they are without needing to be thinned down. But it should take 2 thin coats. If you're always getting 100% coverage, you might be going a bit heavy. I didn't do 2 thin coats anywhere else on this guy because he was already painted. That's the whole reason we're here. Because of the fuck up. So, Again, like a couple other videos I've done, I know this isn't a sexy video. You know, it's like, oh my god, he's putting on the base paint like no one's ever done before. Oh my god. No. But this is some idiot paints, and some idiot did something stupid, and now he's got to fix it. That's kind of what we're here for, is fixing our Whoopsie Daisies. That's kind of what we're here for, is fixing our Whoopsie Daisies. Now, something I do that maybe not a lot of other people do, at least not that I see, when I'm doing a base, when I'm doing a broad layer like this, I don't twirl my brush into a point. I don't take the paint on all sides. I actually flatten my brush on the palette, because I know I'm going to be working with a flat surface. I'd rather keep my brush flat and all the paint I'm going to use on the flat of my brush. I know specifically with Games Workshop, they always show you taking that brush to a point. But again, I don't think that's always necessary. And sometimes it allows you to do what I'm doing, which is to paint without having to swap brush sizes in between your painting job. I think I already painted that. Just, yeah, without swapping now. For this stuff here, I should twirl my brush for that. I'm just going to finish up the broad surfaces first. A bit heavy. A little bit heavy. That's alright, my paint's liquid, so I can move it around and use it. It's not the end of the world. Sometimes when you make an Oopsie Daisy, it might feel like the end of the world, but usually it's not. I've yet to come across a case where mispainting a Games Workshop miniature has led to a nuclear holocaust. But I'm not going to say it can't happen. God only knows in these days what will and will not trigger the nuclear apocalypse. There we go. So I'm just going to clean my brush real quick. Dab off some of that extra water there. And then swirl it. And start to work these details. Finer areas. Like I said, technically the right thing to do here would be to switch to a different size brush. But I tell people I have a life, so I don't want to switch brushes every 20 seconds. No, you probably don't either. So, find yourself a nice intermediate size brush and go from there. This guy's little army madooders might need extra coats actually. Oh, it's way too heavy. I gotta take some paint away. If you're really worried that you went too heavy, you can always wet your brush, take it off, or my personal favorite, the lick. The lick takes off a lot of stuff. The only downside with the lick, you can't paint it again for a bit. Yeah, really here I'm in a situation where I need to add more paint to my palette. I'm just kind of using the dregs. So these guys here I've actually made a change on. This guy here has some nice big legs, robotic legs of some descript. Instead of painting them unicolor, like the model has it, I'm actually going to paint the kneecaps, the bronze I'm using for their metal. The browns I'm using for metal and other models. But yeah, no, I don't know what I'm going to do for these guys with their shoulder pads and arm pads and stuff. Because I don't want to... I don't want to do the color scheme I had originally intended to use. I don't. So I think what I might end up doing is actually doing those shoulder pads in the same bronze metal piece, right? Oh, I forgot his jock. Yeah, if you do make a whoopsie daisy, don't be afraid to go back, even if it is more work, and fix it. It's totally within... Yeah, that's still not going to dry right. It's totally within your power to go back and make a change. Even when you're halfway through a set of Hearthkin Warriors, you can go back. That's the time it took me now. They're all back on track. They're all fairly close to the color. Yeah, it's going to make a bit more work for me down the line. Oh, yeah, I should say. Here we go. Yeah, they're all back on track. They're all much closer to his color. It will make more work for me down the line when I have to go back and do some, like I said, some edge highlighting like I had done on their main models. But it's far less of a problem now. Yeah. Anyway, that's a short video on fixing a whoopsie daisy. Next video, I'm going to actually go into regular painting the rest of my Hearthkin. And I might also get to work on some of their effects. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Stay safe. Don't do drugs unless they make you cooler. And I will see you in the next one. Oh, and all the YouTube begging. All of the YouTube begging. So much YouTube begging. Thank you.